I have a story. And I know many of you will really enjoy this story. It's funny. It really is. So when I first came down to this area, let me make sure this is recording. Okay. When I first moved down to Lake of the Ozarks area, I was in survival mode. And I was starting over from ground zero. And I had made a decision that I wanted something different in my life. And I wasn't getting what I felt like the love and support that I should have been giving in my life. And I felt like I was being used and, all that. And so I was also in a lot of pain and found out that my neck is broken and I'm needing surgery for that. That's another story. But I found out through this journey in my healing process, which began back in 2019. So this has been a long journey. And you guys probably don't even remember. But I've told many people my journey, my plans, and how I wanted to get off medication and do a lot of things with my life. And do some major upgrades and changing. And y'all did not take me seriously. But I hope you are now. You see, I had the forthright, the knowledge, the knowing, the discernment, whatever you want to call it, intuition, to get my butt in gear. So I moved out to Lake of the Ozarks in survival mode. And while I moved into this place, a lovely, lovely lady, she's an angel. She really is. Allowed me to move into her home in her basement. And it wasn't the best, It's an old farmhouse. Not old. It's, relatively new, considering, like, the history of farms. You know what I mean? But it's an older home, and it's fallen apart, and it needs some help, And I lived in her basement. This beautiful woman, giving me peace and patience and just kindness. And so while there, this woman had been a major player in Lake of the Ozarks realty, Lake of the Ozarks living, business ownership for many years. She's 90 years old now. And so she shared with me a lot of things that I found very interesting. And she should have wrote a book too, but that's another story. And so she encouraged me. She's like, 4th of July, go down there and watch the fireworks, Just spend some time down at the lake and absorb some of the energy and maybe meet some people. So, and that day, on the 4th of July, it was a Friday, I believe, this year. I don't know. All my days are running together, so. But I had gone down, up, over, wherever you want to call it, to Osage Beach, to a place called Dog Days. It's a bar with a marina, and they had pools, pool bar. Oh, it was crowded. It was crowded. Now, I hadn't planned on meeting anybody because I'm not really interested in a relationship or being deep embedded into anything, you know? I just wanted to get out and to have a good time. I had $40 in my bag, and I had never been to Lake of the Ozarks, ever. I had come down to Lake of the Ozarks one time with my brother and his friends, and we just stayed in a hotel drinking the whole time. So it wasn't really coming to the lake. You know what I mean? We went to the strip and went to like a couple stores, but we didn't get out on the lake. We didn't go to any bars. We didn't do anything like that. Fun, you know? We just went out to eat and then to the hotel. It was boring. So when I came down, I had no idea what I was getting into. I had no idea. And I really didn't care. I was so happy just to have some time to myself and maybe see some fireworks, you know, see some fireworks on the lake. And so I think I purposely, because I'm thinking about it now, like I didn't want anybody to approach me. Oh my gosh, I'm thinking about this now. I wore a swimsuit and I wore steel toe boots. Oh my God, let me see. There are these. I wore these. Boots. Okay, steel toe work boots that I used to wear at work for Aldi in the freezer. And I put those, hi Bailey, I put those boots on and my swimsuit and a swimsuit cover, and I had my bag and I had a white sun hat, and I posted a picture on Instagram, I think it was. Could have been Facebook, or maybe it was TikTok, I don't remember. Just of me, you know, my face with my hat on the 4th of July at Dog Days. And oh my God, so funny now I think about it. I must have looked crazy. Steel toe boots, a white sun hat, and a pretty yellow dress with a swimsuit underneath. So, oh man, what a weirdo. So I walk down the hill to the bar, because you had to park quite a ways away, and you walk down into the bar, and music is pumping, man, it is awesome, boom, 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 and people like everywhere, shoulder to shoulder. The pool is like filled with people just standing there drinking, and the line for the bar is about a half hour, an hour long. So first thing I do is, you know, just kind of take in the scene, and then I go straight to the women's restroom because I had to look at myself and be like, what the fuck am I doing? You know, why am I here? I don't know you know. And so anyway, I get out of the bathroom, and I made no eye contact at all with anybody in like the restroom area. I come out of the bathroom, and honestly, I'm wearing these boots and my dress, and I get in line to get a drink at the bar, and I think I was there maybe 3 minutes, And I just felt this overwhelming, like, urge to move. I just had the shivers, like, get moving. And so I listened to Spirit or whatever, and I walked to the opposite side of the bar and just kind of looking, gazing, just kind of glancing around, not making eye contact really with anybody, and trying to just be kind of hidden. And all I really wanted to do was get a drink. And it was already late. It was getting late, It was about 2 o'clock. And by now, people had been drinking all day. And I just wanted to find a place to sit on the beach, because I'm thinking Osage Beach. I'm thinking there's a beach here, okay? I brought my beach towel because I wanted to sit like on the beach or, somewhere that I could watch the fireworks. That was the plan, right? And so, and even if I was seeing them from a distance, that was fine. Right, Bailey? And so I walked to the opposite side of the bar because I had this feeling to move. And so I am smiling. I do make eye contact with a few people and just kind of meander my way back to the opposite side where the entrance is, the marina, that bar over there. There are restrooms over there as well. And so I belly up to, there's a bar, you can sit, it's not a bar, it's like just bar stools, and you can sit and look over down into the water in the marina. And so I sat there. Well, I didn't really sit. I stood there for a minute, and I set my bag down, and I get my camera out, and I just start taking videos of the turtles that are swimming there. They're just swimming around. There's some fish in there too. It's pretty big ones too. In the marina, because I guess people throw food over maybe and feed them. I don't know. But so I'm just watching the turtles swimming in the water there, and I'm videotaping. I could have even put video out on social media. I don't remember, but. And so I'm just in my little la la land over here. And after I'm, doing some videos and taking some pictures, and I look up and I start looking around. I start looking at people. And, I haven't really made contact with anybody down here. Don't know anybody, don't know anything, right? So I'm a little leery because, I've been hurt before, and I don't want to put myself in a position where I was making friends and not really, and then they're taking my energy. And so I'm guarded, rightly so. I'm a woman by herself in Lake of the Ozarks on the 4th of July. And I figure, well, I've got $40. I do want to get a drink, but wait a minute. And I catch my eye over to the right-hand side of the marina, and I see a group of people just gathering in, and there's the state patrols there. They had pulled somebody over for drinking and driving. And if you know anything about Lake of the Ozarks, you're not supposed to do that, drinking and driving. Nobody does that. You don't do that. But everybody down there was drinking. So that's why they were worried. So they had pulled this person over, and they were talking, long time, talking. And there was a man down there, and he looked like the mayor of Osage. He just looked like he knew what was going on, and he knew, everybody, and he had this presence about him that he just looked like the mayor of any town. He just looked like the mayor, And so caught my eye, because I was like, wonder if he is the mayor. I don't know, But he was in a swimsuit and he had a nice clothes, mayor looking clothes, Anyway, so, and it just caught my eye. And he kept staring at me for a minute and then would look away. And then so, meanwhile, I'd just move on, I do get a lot of stares, a lot of places, and that's typical. So I was like, okay. So, but then, I don't know what happened. At some point, that man had left. Like, he had walked off. And then about 5 minutes later, here comes some man walking up to where I was sitting, looking at the turtles, and he started talking to the people on the opposite side. But then eventually he warmed up and turned over and started talking with me. He introduced himself, and his name is Dale, and he invited me to go out on the lake. He's like, I don't know if you're here with anybody, if you're interested or not, but I'm inviting people if you want to go or not. And I was like, what's going on? So he has a friend whose name is, I won't say, but he has a fireworks display every year, and it's in his cove. Now, this man apparently very wealthy man, and so he does about a 30 or 45-minute display. And these aren't just choom. These are 1,000-footers, 1,500-footer. I mean, this is a display, okay? Thousands and thousands of dollars. And so, he's selling it. And I'm like, I don't know anything about here. I did specifically come down here to see fireworks. But how much? And he's like, no, it's free. If you'd like to go, It's just me and my best friend Eddie. My best friend Eddie's on the boat. And, you're welcome to go with us if you want. And he goes, I wouldn't touch you. I'm not that kind of person. And he was such a gentleman. And, I was like, even if he was, I'd fucking shoot him and kill him, That's what I'm thinking, I don't care. He can't hurt me, is what I'm saying. Because I know how to defend myself, and this man did not seem the type that could do anything like that. I mean, his hands never really seen a day of hard labor, is what I'm saying. So, really, I don't want to say anymore, but he is a very, very nice man. And he's older than me. He's probably, not going to say. But he's like, yeah, you're welcome to go. And he goes, and then afterwards, I'll bring you right back here if you want to. And so he sold it in a way that I was like, yeah, sure. Yeah. I've come down here to take a chance. Take a chance in life and to meet some folks. And, why not? Why the fuck not? I can defend myself, and I know how to swim, and I can cut throat, and I'm a good person, I get along with these people. And he bought me, he's like, well, if you want to come, let's go ahead and get a drink, and then we'll go. And I was like, okay, so we got a couple drinks, and we go to his boat now, his boat. I'm thinking it's like a fishing boat, or like I knew it wasn't a pontoon. But he's like, it's a cruiser, I'm like, I don't know what that means, So we go, and his boat's on the total opposite of the marina because you can't park it in the regular spots because that's too big. It's way too big to park in the normal parking space. So already I'm like, all right, Denise, you picked a good one. This guy invited me on his fucking cruiser. All right, so we go, and it's so nice. We get in, and he's like, "Do you like Van Halen?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's all right. It's not bad. I like Sammy Hagar, and I like, I was telling him a few other things that I really like. But he wasn't asking for that. He just wanted to know because that's what he was going to play. And he was going to play it really fucking loud. And he's like, you like loud music? And I was like, yeah, hell yeah. So, and his best friend Eddie is like sitting there. And I get on the boat. We go down in the living section. And where the stereo and the bathrooms and the bedrooms and the showers, everything are. And his best friend Eddie is there, and he goes, "Hey Eddie, guess who I met? Who I am? Guess what her name is?" And he's like, "What?" And he's like, "Denise." And it's so funny because his best friend Eddie, his wife's name is Denise. So I was looking forward to meeting Denise, but she wasn't there that day. But Eddie was sleeping on the boat, more like probably passed out from a stupor. But anyway, we get going, we untie the vessel, and we're off, okay? And this thing is huge. Like, you can't even feel the waves. It's so big. You know what I mean? Like, and we're on Lake Ozarks. We're not on the ocean, but it does feel like the ocean on Lake of the, if you've ever been on Lake of the Ozarks water, you know what I'm talking about. And I realized that day. It's like Lake of the Ozark ocean. It's weird. Anyway, so we're cruising, all right? And we go back to his place to switch out the boat because he's switching from the cruiser to the pontoon. And I'm like, wow, okay, so this guy's got how many boats? And so we get to his place and he shows me around and I'm still fucking wearing these fucking boots. I never got in the water. I never even stepped foot in the water. So he's like, I got some flip-flops for you probably if you want to wear those. And I was like, yes, please. Because I wasn't planning on going somewhere, especially not somewhere to somebody who's home and dock and all this. I was just going to watch fireworks from a boat or the beach. So anyway, he lets me borrow some flip-flops or sandals, and they fit perfectly. And we get out on his pontoon, and I help him get out, and we're going. And I taped us backing out of his dock, and I videotaped on somewhere the sun setting on 4th of July on his pontoon as we're going like 50 miles an hour. Okay, we're flying. And we're boom, 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 boom. Anyway, it was fun. But we get to this guy, the other side of the lake, to his dock, or his cove, actually. His whole family has the whole cove. And so we pull in and we park and we get out and introduce me to everybody. And oh my God, it was the most phenomenal experience in my life. We were apparently, so because I've never been down here, everybody and their brother comes to this guy's display, which apparently, quote, rivals Tantara. And it's free, and it's like amazing. So I'm in this guy's house, and he's introducing me to all these people. There's lots of college kids there, and there's tons of family and dogs. And so anyway, the sun's starting to set, and you know, we're getting to talking, and yeah, I wasn't drinking. I had that one drink that he bought me at the bar, and that was it. And so we're just sitting there waiting now for the fireworks, and we're all talking about life in general, what's going on and everything, you know. And all of a sudden, those fireworks start. Now, there were 5 docks. So there were 5 houses in this cove. And Ron's house was over here. And that's where all the fireworks were. And then I was on the second dock, right next to the fireworks. So we had the fireworks on this dock here, and I was on this dock over here. So the hundreds of thousands of dollars of boom, boom, booms, boom, 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 and I'm right here. I'm right fucking here. I had the best time of my life. And the man who invited me, we had a connection. A good spiritual grounding connection. And I adore him. He is going through some things. And, you know, it's everybody has life, you know. And so I'm not going to bother him and bug him to hang out with him, you know, and knock on his door and be a nuisance. Because he has family things, deep-rooted, important things that he needs to attend to. And I respect that. But I wanted to get this video out because it's been sitting, this story has been sitting forever. And it needs to be told. Because by me going, even though I didn't really want to go, and I put those boots on, I was doing it because, you know, it was the right thing to do, get out of the house, meet people. And, you know, I had a good attitude about it, but deep down inside, I was still trying to be like pushy, like back offish, and like, you know, I don't want to be around people. I can't trust people. I don't want to know what other people are doing in their lives, because I was going through it myself, you know? And I didn't want to get involved with any enmeshments with anybody else, you know? So, but he was so gentle, and he was so kind, that it just like pulled my mind, thinking, wow, the vibes down here are so different than what I grew up with. The people and the energy where I am now is so different. People are more open down here, out here, over here, wherever you want to call it. And people are so much more genuine out here. Now, don't get me wrong, everybody has their own things, right? But for someone who my life path is to be the most authentic, genuine person in the world. And I see this, and I'm all up in it. And so I decided that weekend that I was going to stay down in Lake of the Ozarks. And I made the conscious decision already in my heart and my soul that this is where I belong. And because I did that, my whole life changed. You talk about authenticity. That freaking switch went high voltage that weekend with those fireworks in my motherfucking lap. Yeah, that happened. It was the most inspirational, pivotal moment in my life. I had already written my book. I had already had everything in plan for my business. I had already done all the hard back behind the scenes work. And all that hard spiritual enlightenment and trauma and drama and life experiences were already like being played out. And I was supposed to be in another fucking country. I was supposed to be in Malta. Now, that's another whole story, and we'll get into that later. But know this, that God is in control. And I don't have to worry about gosh darn thing in my life ever again. Because He has seen what I have gone through. He, she, it, whatever, source. I don't care what you call it. But they know. And I'm being rewarded for it. And those people who manipulated me, lied to me, stole from me, they're getting theirs right now. And I pray for them. Some of them will make it. Most of them will do all right. One won't make it, maybe two. And it hurts. But that's my neighbor. Yeah. Life has changed. And so since I've made these conscious decisions, instead of staying stuck in the unconscious, I'm being rewarded.